That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks to Humans for bringing us in. Thanks to you for supporting the show. Let's start like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Last part is huge for me. I got to be able to tell the difference between what I can have an effect on, what I can control, which is myself, and the outer circumstances that I absolutely have no control over. So today's episode is about codependency. We actually put this episode out on Patreon, and it's patreon.com/soberguyradio. You can get the real show there, and you can help support the show through there. We put this out a few weeks back. Jess and I talked, and we're actually just put a new one out where we talked about change and different ways to deal with change. And you can get that by going to patreon.com/soberguyradio, or you can go to thatsoberguy.com, click on the Patreon button and go on there and check it out. Thank you for supporting us. Thanks for supporting the show, for your emails, and we have actually a great email from Dan that I'm going to read in just a couple of minutes here. First, I want to thank a couple people, but first, before actually we do that, let's get a word in from our sponsor.
At Foundations Recovery Network, our mission is to create lifetime relationships for long-term recovery. In our history of doing good is the promise of your future getting better. So if you or someone you love needs help, please know we are here to help. And the sign on our door says, "We care." We create an individualized treatment plan for the whole person, for the whole you, because to us, you matter. The first step to recovery is heroic. We know that. And with our Heroes in Recovery movement, we honor those who have taken that step toward recovery and stand up for you and stand beside you and stand together to break the stigma placed on addiction. Call our confidential and private line at 877-714-1318. We are here to help you. And help has a phone number, 877-714-1318. Make the call. We're listening. We're Foundations Recovery Network.
Thanks to Foundations for supporting the show. And you can go to thatsoberguy.com. Also, you can get the 6 quick tips to quit drinking in 24 hours. It's a free download on there. You can check that out. Now, regarding the real show, I want to be very clear. I don't feel like I've been clear enough about what the real show is, and I want to recap really fast. The Friday show that you guys get on Sober Guy Radio will always be a free show that comes out. You'll have all access to it, all that good stuff. So that's what you're listening to right now. That show will never change. Nothing else will really change other than content and guests and that type of stuff. The real show is a separate show that Jess and I created, and it's only hosted on Patreon, where you can go on there and pledge to the show to help support us, to help support the operation, to help bring you new recovery content, new guests. It helps fund our operation here too. It costs money to operate this shit, plain and simple. There's nothing more to it than that. And I love doing it, and it's nice. And I thank all of you out there who support the show, like Youre. Youre donated to the show recently. We had Julie, who also became a patron at Patreon and pledged to the show. When you pledge to the show, you'll get, not only do you help the operation, that's first and foremost, okay? You help support us. You also get access to the real show. And you'll only get that on Patreon as we start moving forward and creating more content, Jess and I, with the real show. Now, today, we're giving you a preview of the real show on today's show. And that one was put out a couple of weeks ago. I don't think a lot of people heard it. The content is good on it, and we thought it'd be a good idea to promote it a little bit more and let you guys get some some information on what it's about. And I've had Jess on the show before. Obviously, she's been on. Many of you have heard her. She's got a great outside opinion. She's not an alcoholic or an addict, but obviously she's married to one, and that's me. So we get to hear her side of things, and you'll hear a bit of that in this episode today, which is about abusing jelly donuts and codependency. And as you listen, you'll hear how those go together. And next to that, and one more time, the Friday show will always be the Friday show, so don't trip. If you don't support us on Patreon, it's all good. The Friday show will still always be there. And speaking of that, we have some great guests coming up too. We're taking a little break from guests for the moment. We have some awesome ones coming up. But if you want to get the real show moving forward, go to patreon.com/soberguyradio. Go to thatsoberguy.com and click on the Patreon button. Those are 2 ways you can help find the show. Now, I want to read a message from Dan. I get a lot of messages. I love all of them. I always respond to them. And I'm very honored to be able to provide any help, any thoughts I have, any of the shit that I've been through. If I can share and it helps someone, that's awesome too. Dan's message was a bit different, and I really wanted to share it with everybody out there. So it says, "Hey bro, my name is Daniel. I'm a flight paramedic educator in Sweet Home, Alabama. I've been in fire and EMS for over 15 years now. I did 9 years in the military as a medic. I battled a severe drinking and drug problem through most of my career, from beer to cocaine. I covered most of my bases in the drug department. I pushed the envelope for years with drinking and driving, overdosing, and car wrecks, all the while saving lives and running into burning buildings." Crazy. "My yet factor was in July 2012. I was arrested for assault with a weapon. Cocaine and Jack Daniels was in my system. That was my rock bottom. I was facing losing my medic license and my career. Shortly after, I became pretty ill, health-wise, and was in and out of the hospital. It was an amazing wake-up call. In one of your podcasts the other day, you were talking about knowing the feeling of the other side of sobriety, and that statement really resonated with me. Sobriety is a badass way of life. For years, I quit drinking and I quit drugs every Sunday, and by Wednesday, I was using again. I can relate to that. That was an everyday thing. I'm going to stop tomorrow. I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to stop Monday. Definitely a very common pattern. I used and I drank to help deal with all the bad shit from my career and from the military, and I used because I made myself a victim. I wore the victim card you speak of like a fucking badge of honor, and many of us do. I wore the V on my forehead that doesn't stand for vagina, stands for victim, but I could have been being quite the vagina in that aspect, being soft. I don't know. Should I be politically correct? Am I going to get in trouble for saying that? I can't say vagina. You can't say vagina. Guess what? Freedom of speech. Fuck off. You're a fucking hero to me, man. Sorry, Dan. We'll get back to your message here on my crazy ass brain. He says, "You're a hero to me, man. I really appreciate that first. I should have said this beforehand. Like, I don't read this stuff because I get the thank yous and the praise. And like, I really do appreciate you saying that. I'm not a hero. I'm just some dude who happens to have a microphone and I can share a bit of my story. Like, I don't mean to sound like a dick or whatever by saying that, but like, I don't do well with the praise stuff because I'm fucked up. Like, I really am. I have fucked up things that I still deal with. And I just, I happen to be able to have stepped out enough to share them, and everybody can do that. Whether you have a platform that's a podcast or not, whether you're just sharing shit at your grocery store or at your local church or your AA meeting or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, all of us are heroes together, I guess is what I'm getting at by speaking out about this. But thank you, man. I don't talk about alcohol and drugs because I was afraid of the prejudice and I was afraid of of what everybody would say. And then he basically goes on to say he found the podcast. It really helped to open his mind up to speak out about it. And he also says, I do a lot of work with post-traumatic stress for police, fire, and EMS people. And he says Sober Guy Radio gave him a new avenue to help folks who are in that line of work, which, man, like, I'm so grateful that God has allowed me to do this. And then in turn, that got passed down to you, Dan. And now you're able to help some of our first responders, and people that have been in the military that have suffered traumatic stress. Such a huge issue in our society, in our country, and really in the world, I guess. I'm just one dude. I can't save the world, even though sometimes I trip out and try to think that I can. I can't, and none of us can, but it's people like Dan, it's people like you out there listening who are talking to people out in your communities, who are bringing up in the workplace, hey, yeah, like I'm an alcoholic, like I had an issue with it, doesn't make me a bad person. That's how we actually spread and end the stigma of addiction, of alcoholism, is by speaking up and talking about it. And like I said, you don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to have a book. I saw a post, actually, it was from Buzzkill Podcast, which is a cool show. I don't know. I think his name's Paul. I don't know him personally. Seems like a good dude. A lot of cool stuff going on over there. But he had a post the other day, and I just happened to scroll through it, and it said that you don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to have a book. You don't have to be doing, and I put these in quotes, these big things in life. You don't have to have this huge plan. We all think we have something, huge that God has planned for us. I'm guilty of it. When I simplify things and I step back and I say, look, it's the little things that matter. It's the little things that I'm doing in my kids' school, in my workplace, by helping to spread the word and talking to other people, building relationships. Those types of things are what really have an impact on our communities, and then branch out all around us to all different aspects of life. So it's an important thing to kind of keep that in mind, is that all of us matter. Everybody matters, and it's really starts with us, to be honest with ourselves and to be true to ourselves and to start that conversation, I guess, per se. But back to Dan here. Dan, I was really honored to read this, and it just really touched me, and it really hit me hard, like, the effect that all of us are having by talking about this. And you're providing a great service, and I wish you the best on moving forward in whatever avenue you're working towards to continue to help, 911 responders. Let's see, it said a lot of, I just read that, kind of popped in. I don't know if that made sense. I just want to make sure. A lot of 911 responders deal with bad addiction issues. I see. Okay, got it. Yeah. So just in general, with people who's have high stress jobs that deal with post-traumatic stress and traumatic situations, shit that I can't even deal with, that I can't even think about dealing with. I don't know how I would. I have a couple buddies who are police officers, mad respect to them. One in particular I'm thinking of, some of the shit that, he deals with and that he talks about. My wife and I are both like, man, how do you just deal with that and then come home and kiss your kids and read them a book and have dinner? And it's just, it's crazy. There's a lot of stress and emotional energy that goes into that. And to have guys like Dan out there that are stepping outside and providing some relief by speaking up and saying, you're not weird, I've gone through this shit too. It's huge. So if there is anything else, Dan, I can do, or Sober Guy Radio can do, please let me know. Great to connect with you. I thought I had an email address for you, and let me check that. Okay, so Dan gave permission for me to give out his email. It's Daniel Mills. It's DOC Mills. So DOCMILLS 83@gmail.com. If you are a first responder, if you're a police officer, if you are an EMS, any type of, veteran, any type of high stress job, you can reach out to him. He's also started a Facebook page called 911 Buddy Check. And so you can just search 911 Buddy Check on Facebook, and that'll come up. You can connect with him there. All right. So I want to do a quick iTunes review of the week, and then we're going to jump in and you're going to get the real show with the Jess and I about codependency. Here is the iTunes review of the week. It's from Recovery Squared, and it says, love the information Shane puts out. Love listening with his great guests. So thanks for that on there, Recovery Squared. I do appreciate that. I believe that's Steve over at Recovery Squared. He has a podcast himself. He recently invited me on. So thanks to him for having me on the show. Much appreciated. And thanks for the review, my friend. All right, let's get down to the real podcast with the Jess and I, and we're talking about some codependency. Here we go. Welcome.
Yo.
And our apologies for the long absence. It's been a couple of weeks for us, and we're going to talk.
Such is life.
Yeah, definitely life. Some things going down. Peaks and valleys.
Not really. I mean, anything major.
No, nothing major.
Compared to most.
That's for damn sure. So very thankful about that. But just getting caught in my own mind, I guess, for me. How about you, Jess?
Yeah, just waiting for you to set up the podcast gear is all.
Oh, so it's on me.
I'm just kidding.
It's actually set up all the time.
I know. Actually, we try to do it in the evening and then we fall asleep.
So hard. Yeah, we do. We fall asleep on...
We're like, we're going to do it. We're okay, yeah, it's happening. And then, like, the kids won't go to bed, or, Cash is the one. Lucy goes to bed. She's good. But Cash, and then it doesn't fall asleep. And then finally it's like, we're out. Yeah,
it's pretty tough after, by the time we, do dinner and baths and get the kids ready. And then after put them to bed, we have good intentions. And then,
yes.
I have proposed an early morning show. What do you think about that, Jess? About 5 a.m.?
I'm seriously, like, still thinking about it. I haven't completely put it out of my brain yet, but I feel like maybe.
Oh, I just saw
5:30 a.m.
St. Paul and the Broken Bones came out with a new album.
Really early.
Sorry.
Are they on a tour?
I don't know. Good look. We're not doing any editing on this, by the way, either. So anything that you hear is what you're going to get, because we are working on. Now, we've also thrown out this idea of a live show, right? I found a cool platform to do a live show. So something else being kicked around that might be kind of cool.
Yeah. Any suggestions, or if you guys are like, yes, do a live show. I think you said you can comment on that one too, right? Like,
well, you can. Yeah, you can do it
listeners?
live. So what I was thinking was, we could start it. If we started at 5 a.m. Pacific time,
Lord help me,
or even 6 a.m. Pacific time, that's Central and East Coast times a couple hours ahead. So that might work, and people can actually get on and comment or ask questions or whatever while we're doing
awesome.
the show.
I think that would be really cool.
I do too.
I think I would be willing to, like, get up if I had a purpose in getting up. Shane gets up at like 3 in the morning and is like,
if I had a purpose.
Going. But he's like, you need to get up and go. And I'm like, no, my juices are not flowing before 6 a.m. Even at 6, when I wake up, I'm all, or I even snooze it till about 6:15. Like, I can't. It's not me. I'm not the one.
Well, what do you say? What do you say, pal? Hey, what do you say, pal? We do our 5 minutes, huh? Sorry.
Like when you take a picture. Every time that someone's like, oh, here, let's take a picture of you guys, and Shane and I, and then Shane will, like, put his arm around my shoulders, like, hecka hard too, like, hey, buddy, come take a picture with me. And I'm like, okay, we're not friends. Like, we are friends, but, like, we're not, let's pretend to be lovers. Like, let's do the back to front prom pose or something like that.
Say 7th or 8th
that's what you were
grade
thinking.
dance.
That's why I said it.
That's because you know what I'm thinking before I even say it. That's weird.
So at this point, I think it's time for the 5-minute 5 minutes of life. I feel like we need an intro song, or like a firecracker or something.
An intro song to the 5 minutes of life.
Yeah,
well,
like
let's see what we have here.
5 minutes.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay,
It's
that
the
works.
first one that came on. It's one of my favorite songs. I was a highwayman. Along the coast roads I did ride. I could just sit here and sing this whole thing.
This would be part of your 5 minutes. You can sing this song the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm starting your 5 minutes now, and go.
All right. So my 5 minutes of life for me, man, the last few weeks have been a struggle, to say the least, for me. And it's so stupid because it's things that I know that I need to be doing. And to get out of my own head that I'm just not doing. And so part of this struggle was, I can obviously, like many alcoholics and addicts, we have this self-destructive type of personality or type of gene or type of mentality, whatever you want to look at it as. And thankfully I'm not being self-destructive with drugs or alcohol or, making bad decisions that land my ass in jail or an institution or anything like that. But don't try to interject in my 5 minutes. I saw you peeking over the mic there. This is my 5 minutes. I'm just kidding.
I just wanted you to let them know what you are being self-destructive with.
Well, that's where I was going. That's what I was saying.
I think it's funny.
And so it's with food. And Seth
But
and
please name the food.
so I'm going to get there too. Are you guys anxiously waiting now to hear the food? It's jelly donuts, okay?
It's not.
I'm-
It's cherry pie.
It's both. It's like Private Pile, from Full Metal Jacket, jelly donuts,
my
and straight
gosh.
Hostess cherry pies because, and it's like straight hiding out and slamming them to the face and then feeling like shit afterwards.
I just love it that
And-
you admit it too. It's great.
Well, I have to because it's accountability number one, and it's also funny. And at the same time, it is it's that self-destructive tendency that I'm talking about. And I got to actually share something real quick to Seth and Mel, which is pretty funny. I mean, from what happened, we went over to Seth and Mel's this weekend. We went to watch a Raider game. It was September 11th. So as some of you may know, Seth is a veteran, and I was in New York on September 11th. So, kind of a day for him to really remember and for the country, I guess. And then also that is also my sobriety date. So we got together, watched a Raider game, and Seth was one of the, my buddies that I reach out to when I'm going through shit. And so when I got over there, he had pointed out on the top of the platter, there were some donuts scattered around. On the very top, there was a number 3 for 3 years, and the 3 was inside of a jelly donut. Thank you, Seth and Mel. Appreciate that.
Awesome.
And yes, I slammed one to the face out of spite, I guess. But there will be no more jelly donuts. I'm on a path right now where I'm really focusing on making some changes. How much time do we have?
Oh, you're going on 2 minutes.
Okay. I'm really focused on making some changes. It's not even so much changes as anything new. It's just getting back to my roots. It's getting back to the things I know, the simple things about putting one foot in front of the other, staying out of my own way, doing the work, which is, step work, and practicing building a better relationship spiritually. And that means talking to God. That means praying. That means meditating. That means not carrying the burden of all of these things in life that, I want to try to do and control, but I just can't. And so I have to give that up. And that doesn't mean that I am not going to still do my best and try my best at things that I do and still have goals and dreams and that kind of stuff too. But there's a thin line in between that where I really need to stay focused and live in the day, in today, in the present, and just do what I can do today, do the best I can today. And when I do that, life tends to get a lot easier. So that is, that's probably, I don't know. I can't really think of anything else that's been going on. My life is great. I have, God's blessed me and our family with many, many great things. And I'm really recognizing, the importance and the love for my kids and for you, of course, my beautiful wife, and our family and our extended family and our friends and all that stuff. And that's really the most important thing, that's important to me. And that's what I'm going to focus on. So.
Oh, that was perfect. You're at 26 seconds.
All right.
And so we're just going to roll that on over to my 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. Proud of you, babe. Proud of you for going to that cycle class when you went, when I had to push your ass out the door, but you were doing it.
All right.
But yeah, life is hard. So I guess, I don't really know. My 5 minutes kind of life kind of coincides with Shane's because, of course, he's my husband and we live the same life and, the same struggles. And it's, it's a wonderful, but like very busy and hard life right now with the kids, 2 and 6, it's like really, I don't know, busy ages. Like Cash is 2, so there's that, and he's a boy, so he's cray. Actually, Lucy was not really as crazy as him, and I've heard, that boys are like that, but man, he's living up to it. And then, Lou, she's got school and soccer, and I just had to take her out of ballet, and I feel like this horrid guilt of it. Like, I feel like the worst mother ever because it's not like she like loved it and wanted to like be in it, but there were just certain I don't know. It was just too much. It was every day we had something after school. I said, finally with the help of Shane too, because Shane's very like, head smart. He's like, this doesn't make sense financially or time-wise, so cut it out, And I'm like, but she wants to be in the Nutcracker, and I'm all like freaking out. And so I literally had to kind of step out and just say, okay, yeah, no, we're all going crazy. Like Lucy was, grumpy and grouchy, and, I was rushing her out of the house, and it was just crazy. So I finally had to put my foot down and like be the parent and just be like, okay, no, we're not doing this. It's too much. So that was kind of a hard little struggle for me in my little world. And then too, I've been, with Shane's, like what he said he's been going through and stuff. Like I also kind of found some things, as far as all that goes with myself, is that I started to recognize my codependency again. Like, when Shane was an alcoholic, but when Shane was drinking and using, I didn't realize that was a problem for him or for me as a codependent. Like, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know that was a thing, codependency. And so, but now I recognize it and I see it, and I started to recognize myself going back into it because Shane was going into his old patterns, not with drinking and alcohol, but
donuts,
with jelly donuts and cherry pies and self-loathing and pity. And sorry, babe.
Cool.
I'll stop there.
That's what it was.
But so then I felt like I was going back into the codependency role, so but I recognized it soon enough to where I finally put my foot down and was just like, no, like I'm not doing that. And actually that's kind of what the show is about today. We're going to talk about codependency and what that means and kind of how to, actually, I don't really know how to bring yourself out of it. I mean, just what works for me, but, recognizing it and just being more aware because, with alcohol, with anything, right? But this is a sobriety show. This is a show about, recovery and loving your,
do you want
alcoholic.
to, why don't we define codependency real quick? An excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically a partner who requires support due to an illness or addiction.
Yep, that's pretty much me. I look to help. That's kind of a...
You do. You've always been like that.
I don't know if that's a flaw or if it's a good characteristic that I have. I guess it could be both. The thing is, I have to learn how to direct it towards good, and not to where it's damaging me and standing in the way of who I am, So I think that I'm just going to I have 51 seconds left, but I'm just going to call it and let's just get into the show because I'm really feeling the role right now.
Well, let's, do you want to go over this 10 signs you're a codependent in a relationship? This is mindbodygreen.com. And
sure.
It's a decent article here and we can just we don't even have to get through all 10. We can just go over some of them if we don't have time, but, let's, number 1 says you can't live without the other person.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It says, I know this is supposed to be romantic, but it's not. It's attachment, which is different from connection. Okay. Yeah. Let's not mess with that.
I'm not trying to read all that right now. I have my own experience.
Okay. Well then fuck this dumbass fucking thing then. Let's hear yours. I'd much rather hear yours than this dumb article anyways.
It's not
no
dumb.
offense, Mind Body Green. It's a great article.
Yeah, what's
Sorry.
the H? It's
I
not
apologize.
dumb. It's just not what I had in mind.
I know.
And I do remember before we started the show, you were like, you're running the show because I don't even know about what life is about right now. So, hello.
All right. Take it away, babe.
Okay. So anyway.
Love you, Dad.
You're allowed to talk, by the way. You can interject every once in a while, but I want you to raise your hand first, please. Thank you.
Sure. Billy Cliff. Billy Cliff. Billy Cliff.
We play School with Lucy. That's Shane's name, Billy Cliff.
I'm Billy Cliff.
White trash.
Billy Cliff is a little bastard, too. He gets in trouble all the time. He throws stuff and talks back to the teacher. Lucy does not appreciate it.
Yeah, Lucy's funny.
Is Miss Rose. Anyway, sorry. Off of topic. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't. Okay, so Shane was struggling, right? And he was like, like, oh, this and that, and I feel this way, and I'm feeling that way, and he's just walking around the house, and and so I'm trying to support him, which is totally fine, right? Like, I'm trying to like pump him up and be like, hey, let's, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he even said at one point as he's laying on the couch, just kind of laid back and was just all, it comes after this, right? Because he's all like, just like I said, cherry pies, jelly donuts, and no gym. He's like, oh, you want to know what I ate today? And he lists off this list, and I'm like, wow, babe, that's
Let's
great.
just get something straight here. I weigh 188 pounds, okay? So I'm not a raving pig.
No, I know. I'm just calling you out.
All right. Well, I guess it's a little sensitive for me, but I know. It's true.
I'm only saying it because I know that it's a phase, and I know that it's not like your life right now.
Sure.
And so that's why I think it's, it's definitely the ebb and flow of life, right? And so just as a couple, we have to learn what that other person's thing is, right? Like, okay, here he goes. He's going into that mode. Okay, so I'm going to play my part, and I'm going to, encourage him and be like, hey, you know what, whatever, blah, 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 go to a spin. So I'm telling him, like, go to a spin class, and he's like, well, I don't even want to go to a spin class. Why? I'm going to have spaghetti for dinner tonight. So what's the point? I don't care. And I'm like, it's about your mental state. Like, it makes you feel good. It's not about that. So he's like all or nothing. And that's his big claim to fame right now. Like, I'm all or nothing. Fame. Well, okay. So he's like, I'm either going to go to the spin class and come home and eat chicken and vegetables, or I'm not going to go to the spin class at all, and I'm going to eat spaghetti for dinner tonight. You know what I mean? So that's hard for me to understand because I'm not an addict and I don't have that mindset. I'm very much like, go to the gym and get on the spin class, and then come home and eat spaghetti. At least you went to the gym. Like, you're doing something. You're starting somewhere. You're moving towards the whatever, right? So, as this is happening in a few days or whatever, and listen, I'm not coming down on Shane. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to, from the other,
I'm in the room,
from the other perspective, right? From the person who loves, the addict or, user or whatever. Like, I feel your pain. Like, I know where you're coming from. So I'm just kind of talking to you guys, and, I realized that Shane was trying to, he was trying to like lean on me, or not lean on me, but he would tell me like, this is what I want to do. I want to eat chicken and vegetables every night. I want the kids to eat better, and I want you to go shopping and make the food, and I want you to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not on that level right now, which here's the thing. Like, I totally get eating healthy, the kids eating, I get all that. But right now, like, I'm on my own track, right? Like, I've got my track, he's got his track. And, so it's very hard for me to jump over onto his track, right? Because like I said, I've got my own things going on. I'm not ready for this big change in the household yet, but he is like, so he's convicting me. He's just like, you're doing it wrong and blah, blah, blah. Well, this is what we need in the house. And then it just hit me, and I'm like, this is your inspiration. This is your vision, and if as a codependent, I could have very well and easily been like, okay, I'm going to go to the store. And because this is also a pattern, so I had to understand that this is a pattern for Shane. He's very much like, I'm not. Okay, I am. Oh, I'm not. And so it's hard to stay on that same track with him. As me, I'm the same way. I have got the same thing. Like, I'm like, yeah, gung ho, let's do this. Right. So everybody's got their stuff. What I'm trying to say is that it's very hard to, or it's impossible to try to live on the same track all the time. Right. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm loving this, that you're bringing up some great points here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Schooling
then I'll
my
continue.
ass. Yeah.
So, so I realized, during one of our arguments that, as I'm telling him, this is what you want, so you go get it and you go do it, and you can cook dinner, 2 nights out of the week if you want to, which this is not a stretch for Shane. He's a super great, wonderful, like, husband. He helps with the kids. He cooks dinner. I mean, like everything you would want. He doesn't do laundry. He does his own laundry.
I do laundry. I just don't fold it.
Well, you do your own laundry.
I folded it as shitty as possible back in the day. That way you would never ask me to fold it again.
Yeah, well, I'm on to you on that one. I don't give a shit how anything's folded or put in the dishwasher anymore. No, but so asking him, hey, you can make dinner 2 nights out of the week the way you want to make it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm game for that. Like, if you want to switch it up and this is how you want to do your life, then you do that and do you, right? But I'm over here like doing something else. Okay, so I'm not on your level right now. So I was pretty impressed with myself when I realized that I was breaking away from that codependency, right? I was saying, you know what? I'm an individual and I'm on my own track, living my own life right now. This is you and what you want to do. I'm not saying that I don't want to live a healthy life and I don't want my kids to not have cereal in the morning, sugary cereal and whatever. I get that, but right now it's not time for me to do that. So I guess I just wanted to speak on like individualism and kind of becoming, an independent again, and just reminding myself that, I am my own person and I have to know what works for me, right? Like, and when. So like Shane approaches me with this, this is how I want to live life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I hear that and I feel that, but I don't know that right now is the best time for me to like engage in all that. Like, I'm not really in the headset and whatever for that. So, you go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? And so then hopefully Shane would say like, okay, like I get that. Like I hear that. And so now I'm going to go do my own thing over here. Did I get off track or does that make sense?
No. And what did I do? So what was the outcome?
So yeah, no, you were like, in the beginning you were like,
So hold on a second. So this served two purposes here, because what it did, and I think this has been a learned thing for us over time, now that I'm hearing you kind of tell it back, and maybe it's a subconscious thing. And I feel like we're actually even just continuing to learn it right now as we're talking about it, or at least realize it. You kind of put your foot down on the codependency part. And in turn, it also helped give me a kick in the ass to step up and realize that this isn't a you thing, it's a me thing. And I can take the lead on this and start to change myself, which in turn, then I can get the desired results that I'm looking for.
Wow. Yeah.
Trickle down to the family.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
Crazy.
But that's my job to do that. And so by you standing up and doing that, that's what you allowed me to do. And you also stepped up and stepped out of the codependency role.
Wow, that is funny. I didn't even realize that, because yes, after I did tell you that, you were like, okay, I hear that. Like you really understood. And that's what it takes too, people out there, is, an open mind and heart, right? Like if you really, what's happening right now?
Miss Independent.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, cuz I just wanted to celebrate this win right here really quick for Kelly Clarkson. Miss Independent. Good job, babe.
I'll take it. I received that. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool that that is the way that happened. Is that I did step out of the codependency, which in turn forced your hand to say, "Ooh, okay, well she's not going to do it for me, so I guess I'm got to do it myself." Because now you have done like the complete. Was it a 180 or 360? How's that happen? How many times did you turn?
How about like a 740 knack gnar, bruh? Fucking shit, man. Just totally shredded the gnar. Rode over down the 10, down to the
my God, the
5 and got on the 1, bro.
So
Love
anyway, yeah, okay. So I don't want to use this as a total bitch sesh or whatever, because
it's not a bitch sesh. It accomplished a great goal here.
It did. So I guess what we're saying is, well, we had an email not too long ago from a woman talking about her son and how, being a codependent, she was saying like, how do I deal? I don't want him to feel like I'm not loving him anymore by, stopping the behavior of myself as a codependent, but, you know, I want to be there for him. And I guess what that is to say, and of course I'm not a professional, I don't know, but for me, I would say maybe knowing that you're not going to fix him is huge, right? But so you can step out of the role of the codependent, but you can still love him, right? So you can still call him and say, how are you? You can still call and say hi, and kind of do that. But you as a person have to know, okay, I'm going to make this phone call, but it's not going to change his life. And he's, I'm not going to fix him. Period. End of story. But I still want him to know that I love him. So I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call him and say, hey, I love you. And of course that's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying maybe that's something, right? Knowing that you're not going to fix him. You're just going to, let him know that you're still there for him and you love him, but he's not getting any more money and he's not getting, a place to stay or whatever the heck you want to do. I don't know. But also what do you think about that?
What?
I don't know, just what I said. Do you want to say anything?
Well, I think that you're right in the sense from the outside perspective, but I would challenge you to put yourself in those shoes if that was Cash or if that was Lucy. Yeah. And so I think that just to be fair, excuse me. God.
Put down the cig.
I know, man. So I still get this weird cough sometimes. It's crazy.
Just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, I think that it's only fair to kind of put yourself in that predicament if it really was your own kids. And I think it's got to be such a tough.
Oh my gosh,
thing.
I can't even imagine.
I can't either, and
my gosh.
I hope I don't ever have to go through that. And I feel for anyone out there who's going for it, or who's going through it, or has gone through it.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple of my friends,
that's why I mean, you don't ever have to stop loving them or showing them love, but maybe knowing that you're not going to fix them, like period, end of story, it will not happen.
Yeah.
They have to fix themselves, right? Like,
well, and I'll give you a quick example of somebody who requests to be nameless, but, a great guy, someone that's really helping me and has helped me in past conversations. And, I know he's going through things with, one of his kids, and that's basically what he's had to do is basically tell him, I love you, I'm praying for you. And, God has a plan for you, but no, I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to support your habits.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bail you out of jail, those types of things.
It's
got to be heart wrenching.
But for anybody, with faith out there too, though, that is the truth. God has a plan for every single person. And so you cannot step in the way of that plan, even if they are your kid, then they won't learn or they won't live out their life the way that God intended. Okay. Like really fast, I want to tell you guys, because this is a great example of codependency. And I've been waiting to get on here and tell you guys this because I want to share with you, but then I got to go get Lucy. So I got to jam.
Jam out with your clam out.
Oh, do you have a song for that?
Sorry, go ahead.
So I listened to, there's an app, it's Elevation Church, it's Elevation app, and it's Stephen Furtick. I think we've referred to him a couple times. We like him. He's a pastor. Okay. So he has this guy on, his name is Donald Miller, and he interviews him, and he wrote a book called Scary Close. And it's about like, having intimate relationships and things like that. Friends, spouse, whatever the heck. He's a New York Times bestseller, actually, best-selling author. But it was really cool. Okay, so then he goes in and he talks about, so if you wanted to check it out, it's on Elevation app. But he talks about how he went to this therapy session, right? And the therapist laid out 3 pillows, right? And there was your pillow, right? So it would be, okay, I'm going to use Shane and I. So it would be my pillow, it would be a middle pillow, and then it would be Shane's pillow, right? And so she's like, Jessica, this is your pillow. And, you can do whatever you want on this pillow, right? Like whatever you want. Shane, this is your pillow. You are free to do and act and however you want on this pillow. Then there's the middle pillow, right? And it's our pillow. So that represents our relationship. So at any time, we are free to come off of our own pillows and go onto the middle pillow, right? And agree on things in the relationship, and this is what we want to do in the relationship, right? But at no time am I allowed to go from my pillow, cross over the relationship pillow, and go onto Shane's pillow and be like, you're not doing that right. right? Like, this is how I want you to do this, or this is how I want you to live your life. Okay. And then it would make our relationship so much easier. Right. So I have to stay on mine. Shane has to stay on his. And if we want to come together and say, this is how I'm feeling about life, can we talk about it? Or, this is, what I think I need, whatever, then we meet in the middle, right? In the middle pillow.
Don't put the dishes in the dishwasher that way.
I don't ever say
I'm
that.
kidding.
But I just think that was like so perfect.
You don't.
And so, it's just a perfect idea of codependency, right? Because the ultimate thing of codependency would be me going off my pillow onto Shane's pillow and being like, fixing you, telling you how to live your life over here. That's a great example of codependency. So just picture that way, coming together. So in other words, with Shane's whole thing and this whole thing that happened over the week, that would be, Shane coming onto my pillow and saying, you need to cook better dinners. You need to not cook, spaghetti. You need to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so silly, but I mean, that's just, that's the way it is.
And don't eat jelly donuts. They do nothing for you except make you feel like shit.
So, anyway. I just thought
good
that
point.
was
I do too, and I appreciate you.
Visual. I'm a visual learner.
We're visual, but we're audio. Right now, at least, I guess. Thank you, babe.
Okay.
Great points there. I did watch a little bit of that with you when we ate our sandwiches the other day together.
Which one? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
Was nice.
You guys should check
really
it out.
good.
Like, you should go check it out. Again, it's Elevation app. It's an app, Elevation Church, whatever. But
you can just go on iTunes too and just type in Elevation. Yeah, it is. What's up, buddy?
Oh, hi, buddy.
There's Cashy Boy just waking up. All right, well, we're going to close this out. Jess, thanks for coming on today, talking about codependency.
Okay. Tell everybody.
We appreciate that.
Can you say that in the mic?
What's up, bud?
Poo-poo.
You have poo-poo? All right, buddy. We're going to go change some shitty diapers now. Hope everybody has a great day.
Love you guys.
And
stay strong, little root.
Yeah, stay strong, little root out there. And one day at a time, keep it real. Peace, love, respect. Keep your blood clean.